Impa, first of all, just what is it like? Because you're fighting in South Florida, right here, where you grew up also, where you trained, Kill Cliff FC. So what is it like for you to be fighting here in this big fight, PFL semifinals?
Oh, man, I'm grateful. You know, it's cool. Josh is a solid fighter, so that's always awesome. Right? You fight somebody solid. Florida's been a blessing for me to be here. I moved back from North Carolina on December 3rd, 2020. Being here at Kill Cliff, you know, and just all things that happened in between. Getting the first world title through this gym. It's been good. It's been really cool to be back in Florida. And it's not far from like my hometown of Fort Lauderdale, from where I was born, grew up in Okeechobee, all around South Florida. But man, that's how I was walking the answer prayers. I'm loving life, you know. It's cool. And I was actually fighting the Hard Rock before the PFL. And then I was sick and I didn't think I was going to fight anymore. And okay, we're gonna figure it out. But now to fight here, it's a cool full circle moment. You know, looking forward to Clinton's victory. Again, I respect Josh and the team and the American top team, but I'm also like, I'm grateful, man. I love what I can do. Whether we're fighting here or we're fighting in Alaska, like I'm fighting, so I'm happy. But
wait a minute now, Alaska. You know how cold it gets in Alaska?
I feel like indoors won't be too cold, so I'm good. You know, but I'll still fight outside if we had to. Like, I love to fight, so wherever it is, and that'll warm me up. So, yeah, it's a cool moment. It's a cool moment. I know it's special. Another guy from Florida, another solid gym. And I'm like, let's get after it.
Josh Silveira, you mentioned him and all, and that's your opponent. And you know the history with Josh and everything and all. So what is it like just getting with him again and battling it out?
But for me, focus is the Clinton's victory. Look at the finish. I feel like last time I missed the hunt. And I respect Josh. I know he's better than before. He showed it. I know a lot of people wrote him off when he fought Saddam. Saddam still got hurt fighting Josh. Then he fought Rob Wilkinson. Like, Rob's a solid fighter, Josh brought it to him. So Josh has been improving. He's got great coaching, great staff, training partners in a great environment. So for me, it's like I really respect that. I always say the best way to respect your opponent is to beat them as badly as they can beat by, and that's to kill your opponent. So for me, it's a job to do. I respect the guy. The best way to respect him is by taking him out.
And I asked Alexi this too, and we've talked about this before. What is it like being in an area, South Florida, and just having all these great places to train, like Kill Cliff FC, like ATT, and other places? There are a couple other places too, and all these great fighters here, and being a part of that.
But yeah, so being a part of an environment where there's so many great fighters, I think it's like you're like in an awesome college town. Like if you're like in, it's funny enough, South Florida got voted as #1 state for education, so it was pretty cool as far as like collegiate education. But I thought that was pretty cool. But it's like you're like in Cambridge or something in Boston, right? And you have Harvard, you have this school, all these minds just keep training. Because there have been people at ATT train here, people here go to ATT, like go to MMA Masters. You can talk about all the gyms now. I own a gym in Miami now, so that's pretty cool. Like but you meet all these different minds that come through, and I think it keeps growing the culture. And it's like almost like an amusement park for MMA, like a college town, like where it's always going to get better because this gym must be better than this gym must be better than that gym. Like that's what you need. Like that is like Pepsi versus Coca-Cola. You need that. You can't have a monopoly on it, and that's what I like. So being a part of it, to have a first title out of it, to be in a great gym, and to be leading from the front, it's an honor and it's a responsibility I take on.
Two more for me, and you mentioned education. And am I got this right? You enrolled in Harvard Business School?
Yes, sir,
and what has that been like? And what was your mindset? You're working on your MBA. What is that like for you to be able to do that?
So I've actually started my certificate program there, and now I start my MBA process, either whether it's Harvard, ideally it'd be Wharton, which would be in Philly, but University of Miami, they have a great program, FIU, all these different schools are my residents, so maybe I want to get a local business owner, so it might be good to be plugged into the community already. Rice University, but ideally, we get my MBA, I'm going to do some more certificate programs, get my MBA, PhD, and then I want to keep working in that. Like, I don't see why, like, I think one thing, not trainers here anywhere specific, but you do here, just focus on fighting, right? When you focus on fighting, you do that, you pay a percentage what you have left, they keep earning. But if you focus on education and building business and building life and making connections, and making yourself the best version of yourself, eventually, like, you're free. and you can still use your fighting leverage that, rather than sit here and just say, oh, what did I do? I don't think you should ever stop learning. I mean, then don't let school get in the way of your education. Like, still educate yourself in other ways. Like, get a training. For the kids at the gym down south, they tell them to learn business, get education, or they do military service, do something like, and they can be great fighters too. Don't let that be the end. Because fighting is, you know, like you get injured, then you're out for a year, then you're like, what the heck do I do? But let's say you have a business that's running. I was just talking to someone, you can go through a lot, challenges feel a lot different when you have something in the bank account, right? So always remember, like, your education gets you in those doors. I know some people say you don't need college, but it's always the people who went to college and say you don't need college. It's always the people who say money doesn't matter, or people have money. So I kind of look at it like, yeah, it doesn't matter to you because you're not hurting for it, but for the people that don't have it, don't have those connections, it's different. You shouldn't have to work at the fast food restaurant. Nothing against that. I respect that. Like, you don't have to go there and sell drugs. But for me, it's like I want these kids to see, like, you could be an elite fighter, best fighter in the world, and dominate. Educate yourself, ride motorcycles, surf, get tattoos, do whatever you want, and realize that nothing limits you. You shouldn't confine yourself to that. So yeah, so the next step is the NBA. I want to start that early 2025, end of 2024, and then keep growing, keep learning.
And then last one for me, speaking of the business, then we've got, yes we do, right there, there it is, get ready everybody. I hope it gets focused, there we go. But anyway,
Appreciate you, thank you.
the gym, tell us about the gym. Impa's Refinery?
Yes sir, so it's about refining the human. It's based off two things. Branch 1423, all hard work brings profit, but mere talking is only the poverty. It's my favorite Bible verse. And then it's a longer quote, but I shortened it than most people do. But Epictetus says, how long are you willing to wait before you demand the best of yourself? And if you read the rest of the quote, it's just challenging you to say, like, every single thing I do, I demand the best of myself in it. I have a lot of kids from 10 years old, no, youngest is 8, and then train a guy who's 66 right now, maybe an 80-year-old, and who might join on. But at all stages of your life, you can demand the best of yourself. I train guys from Department of Homeland Security and their different units to kids who lived a really rough life and parents who do really well. We're all in the same environment. It's like, the reason it's called the refinery, because when I first started fighting, I said, what do I need to do? When I first started fighting, what do I need to do now when I'm a pro? It's always refine yourself. You stop refining yourself, you die. A refiner, you go through the fire, like it's like gold, everybody's gold. You remove the impurity to go through the fire, and I go through it with you. So I was there this morning at 5:30, trained with the team. I'm back here, I'll train and practice with Kill Cliff. This is still my gym that I train out of, and I still go down there and we work and do extra work, but it's about developing the kids, young boxers, kickboxers, MMA, and Muay Thai. I like to do a women's class. I like to do where they can understand like true self-defense. I think, like, nothing against combat, but some gyms, like, it just doesn't get like shared properly, I think. And then if I can share what I use from the cage, then you can blend it all together. Not saying there's anything against it. And just like making it a welcoming environment for all the gyms out in the community. That's not good. So that's my big goal, to make it seem to help refine the human.
Well, I just have to throw this out as well, and I'm so sorry. One more question about it. Thank you guys, because we're all here today. It's a far drive from here to there, though. I know that. I live here, so I know how far drive it is. Weren't you thinking a little closer, maybe like West Palm or something like that? Or no, you wanted to go way down South Miami?
Well, yeah, man, I say God, like, where you set me, I was right. So it's kind of like I've always trained. So Dieter, you know Dieter, my trainer, it was DK Fitness. That's where I bought the gym. So I always still drive down to Miami. And, he's been picking up and doing amazing work. He's actually in Manchester right now with Gregory Rodriguez with the UFC. And, like, his workload picked up based off all the work he's doing. Like, refine me to become a world champion. And I always looked at it like, there are these kids, like 16, 17, who helped me train too. And I don't want the gym to shut down. And I love teaching, I love training, and I feel like there's something I can give back, and became the right opportunity at the right time. So that's why. So back and forth, but it's all good. That's what cars are for, and motorcycles. So we're good.
Thank you, champ.
Thank you.
2 quick questions for you, Impa. So you went down to 185. You were originally a middleweight in the UFC. You probably are a true middleweight, as are many of these other guys, including your opponent, Josh Silveira. What was it like getting to go back down to middleweight to fight Johnny Eblen, and now you're back at 205? Tell me about the difference that you're feeling in there, and would you prefer to fight at middleweight?
One shot, Johnny Eblen, excellent fighter. I won that fight. TNT night. Yeah, but no, I love that question. Really,
Rematch.
Yeah, and I look at that fight. I look forward to doing it again. What I'll say about Johnny is this: like, to talk about him, excellent fighter, helped him become a lot better. I know I love the controversy around it. Like, I never had to argue with that. I won the fight. I know there's the back and forth, but more importantly than that, like, when you get a fight, excellent fighter, one of the better fighters in history, you're always going to get better from it, regardless of the result. And as much as like I always campaign to really speak my truth about the fight, I really respect the guy. So I'm not saying it like in a trash talk away. I mean, I really wish the best from the Fabian Edwards fight. And, you know, God willing, I believe he gets it, but if he doesn't, I still want that fight too, because, you know, he definitely challenged me to be better. Getting to fight at 185 again was an honor, right? At 85 to 205, not much of a difference in like the body. It's more of a cut opposite than 85, which is less weight, but I felt great. You know, I felt good. I was excited about it. And it's like, to do that would be cool. Like if PFL, I tried. I told PFL, let me fight Bellator 185 and PFL 205. They wouldn't let me, so whoever needs to hear about it, PFL, let them know that I'm still down to do it. Middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. So I'll fight them all. But I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I was getting after it. Josh, you know, international middleweight, solid fighter. It's fought 205 longer than I have, but for me, I always say this: like if you're walking down the street, somebody pushes your mama, slaps them on the behind, what are you gonna do? Ask them what weight class they are? You know, you get after it. Like it doesn't matter, right? Whether you fight somebody heavyweight, it's like man versus man. So I feel great in both. Excited. It's funny. Last year when I fought in the, I wasn't semifinals. Elimination round in Atlanta. I forgot that it was weight cut day, and I was eating Chick-fil-A, and I walked in on the weight cut guys. So, my bad. But I'm either weight class. You know, for me, it's like wherever I get to keep fighting. I say it's like kind of cool to get paid to live your life on vacation. If I was on vacation, I want to get in a fight, I want to train, and I want to keep learning. So, I love both. I mean, I hear rumors. I don't know if it's true or not. About an 85 tournament next year, it will definitely be intriguing, or if it's super fight series, but I don't know. I have one thing to focus on right now, Josh Silveira, and if it was an alternate opponent, then that's that, but no matter what, like, Josh is an excellent fighter, coached well, he's got a lot of great people around him, and I'm not going to overlook that or past that, so I respect him, natural middleweight or not, light heavyweight, heavyweight, regardless, he's in the cage. You saw how big Jacob Burdell was. That dude was a big boy, so, you know, you take him out. Respectfully, respect your teammate and the family of Josh, but you gotta go take him out.
You spoke on rematch with Johnny Eblen, and this fight is also going to be a rematch with Josh Silveira. What are your thoughts on the tournament structure and getting to fight these rematches pretty consistently throughout the tournament? Do you like it? Do you feel like you get to show something different every time?
Yeah, so I feel like last time I missed the hunt. You know, like Josh is awesome, and it's like I didn't get the finish. There's certain times I had that in the fight. I want to show wherever I find as a fighter and as a person who's going out to do his job, do my job better, right? Forget the $1 million, forget the money, forget the tournament, the world championship, the title. It's like, take this guy out, take him out, be disciplined, and I like it because, you know, his dad was getting on in the fight. You're gonna let this man take everything you work for, and like that's what builds great moments in like sports history, fighting history, and life. You know, and I expect him to come bring it. I expect him to, you know, like not leave anything behind, and that's what makes the victory that much better. Right? When you fight an excellent adversary, talk about like rematch, yeah, like you're talking about Johnny Eblen. When that fight happens again, like we'll take him out. I can miss this time. And make sure it's clear. And then when I fight Josh, like same thing. I don't see it for like, oh, it's the money, it's the fight, it's the really imagination. It's like, no, like take this guy out and that's what comes. So I like that tournament structure because a lot of people in other organizations are going to talk too much, right? And talk, and it never happens. And talk. And you see it in boxing, and they never get to like come back around. It just fills up the media. And y'all do all this work on your end, and then you're like, so we did all this work, and y'all still didn't have the fight. We helped put you out there, so shout out to y'all. So everybody's attacking the media. It's like, I still got your back. You know, so like,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you. So if you think about it, it's like, you guys do all this work. Okay, they're going to do the rematch, and then there's like no rematch because this fighter ran. Like, no, there's no running in the PFL. You fight who you fight. And the more you earn, the better you get. I'm grateful to come in as a #1 seed or whatever they say, but it's like, you know, you earn those spots, right? And earn the ships. And I'm going to take this guy out. So I love the tournament structure. I think PFL's doing the right things. Shout out to PFL Africa coming along. PFL Europe's doing some really cool things. So eventually, then we can all like fight each other. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And also PFL. Let's get some more fights in the season because I need to fight.
One final question for you. You spoke about possibly going all the way up to heavyweight. Rumor is the PFL is targeting Renan Ferreira versus Francis Ngannou. What are your thoughts on that fight, and who's the dream heavyweight opponent in the PFL for you?
Both of them. Both of them, back to back. I would love to fight him. Renan Ferreira is awesome. He presents different challenges. He's super athletic, young guy, special. Obviously, Francis Ngannou, established champion. He's a champion. They're doing great things. I said, at the inaugural fight, I'll go up to heavyweight, fight Francis and keep Johnson or Cameroon in his hometown, make the PFL inaugural Africa fight, and can redo the Rumble or Jump and make it better. And I've always called him out, but I said I won't call him out out of respect for like the loss of his son, and that's it. So I know the fight's coming up, and respect to him because not many people would even go back in a cage or even want to work anymore, especially in the position that he's in. So when you see guys like what Braga went through, and still came back and still fighting, I respect that after losing his father. To lose your son, I don't ever want to have to go through that, and I can only imagine what he's going through. But the fact that he shows he's a true fighter, what he's been through, that would make me want to fight him more than anything. So I don't want to call him out in a negative way. I do want to fight him. I want to fight either one of them. Fight both of them, and eventually make that happen. Obviously, fight the winner. It's always better. But I've always wanted to fight Francis. You know, he made fun of me once. He said I wasn't a real African because I didn't speak French, but I'm starting French lessons. I respect it, and it's just cool what's coming on. I think the PFL can go in the right direction and make the best decisions. You know, as they say they want to do for the fighters, and hold true to that. I believe you'll, become an organization. That's what they're going into.
Thank you so much, Impa.
Two quick ones for me, but one, the first is I love and respect so much your outward of your faith, and especially in the MMA space where it might not be cool to show that and talk about that. Can you talk about that, or here's the platform for you to talk on that? Or I would love if maybe more fighters would love to talk about that outgoing as well.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, for me, my faith is the most important. You know, it's like I get this platform to share what God's done through my life. I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of stupid things in life, and that's why I think God's even that much cooler. You know, like I tell people, if you listen after you fight, if you're just yelling at Mike, I'm like, you're unconditionally loved. And that's my number one thing about fighting. Like, you can do all these different things in the world, but like, you never know who just turned on the TV watching a fight who's about to blow their brains out, or who's about to overdose, or who knows like somebody lost, like Francis lost his kid. You never know what they're going through. Just remember, like, God knows your condition. That's the main thing. Like, I could give you a list of all my things that people might know about, and then I like this quote that says, if somebody talks about the things they know about you, they wouldn't even say this if they knew the other things bad about you. Like, that's what I love about God. I'm not saying like I'm not perfect, and that's where like I think that grace is so important for these fighters. You never know, especially in fighting. People are abused, people are beat up, and they kind of take it back out of the cage. For me, it's like I want to just use it as a light, like fight, relentlessly, quote unquote savagely, whatever word you want to use. Claim these victories, but at that same time, like just like talk about Jesus, talk about life, talk about, I don't care if I have teammates that are Muslim, I have teammates that are Jewish, I have teammates that don't believe anything, I have teammates that are homosexual, I have teammates that, like, you have a list of them, but it doesn't, in God's eyes, he still loves them unconditionally. So I don't have a right to get up here and just start throwing at people like we see in MMA. Sometimes MMA is such a dark space, then it just becomes like, how many times can I break you down? You see guys who've been doing it for 20 years, if you're spitting that out from age 18 to 38 or 40, imagine how dark it is at home for them, right? Whereas like, see someone from ATT, what's up, how you doing? Rather than what you doing here? You know, like, nah, look at it like, what's up, how you doing? It's cool, like, sister in Christ, I love you. I always walk out to a worship song because you never know. Somebody's like, I'm just gonna go to this fight and then it's over. Yeah. And they might hear that song, and like, I've had a lot of messages about songs, where they're at pick, and it's like, goodness of God, I always says God's goodness is before, during, and after. Funny enough, the first time I walked out to that song was when I fought Josh in the championship fight. And I kind of kept that sense because I just want people to realize, like, it doesn't matter, like, when I was living in the car, right outside of here, when I was in the yurt, God was still good. When he hit the $1 million, God is still great. The day that he takes my parents home, when they're 120 years old, God is still great. Lost money, no money, relationships, made mistakes, like, here's really unconditional love. And it's kind of cool because that's really all that matters. Like, take away fighting, it's okay. Like, I'll cry for a day, probably 24 hours straight if I couldn't fight. But most importantly for me is that really people know unconditional love. I remember this time too, like I was struggling with my faith. Where I was just like, God, like, what's going on? Where are you? Relationship didn't even get married. And like, what the heck? And this didn't work out. And this didn't work. And you kind of sit back and like, God, you're still good. So I used to just sit in church. I wouldn't even stand up for worship, but I would just like, listen. But he was still there. He was still there. And then you start realizing like life is going to be okay. And then now I'm like living life and just, like, I'm enjoying it. Like riding, like the gym, training around great people. And that for me is like, if I could use that platform, and that's why like, I love the PFL. I get to fight so much, so I get to talk about it more, right? And you always notice I was wearing a cross when I like, go to ceremonials and cowboy hat because I wouldn't have to be the centerpiece. And whether you go to church with me once or you never go, I just want people to understand like that. I'm praying for them, have grace for me because I'm not perfect, but at the same time too, when you hear the goodness of God when I walk out, like it's not just for me, but it's for that person in the crowd. And I hope that they can like walk in freedom and walk in faith and be fearless about their life because like all this will fade away, the money, the belts, the fighting, but the relationships you keep with people and like where they go after that's going to be a lot longer and how you make them feel. So that's why I see it's like it's the most important thing for me, especially when you hear about like, a lot of fighters and people on the other side of fighting there too, not just the fighters. So that's what it's about for me.
We talked a lot about it. Of course, we know we got Josh coming up in a couple weeks. Absolutely, that's on it. And then we got, hopefully the finals coming up after that. But what do you foresee yourself 2025? I know at the beginning of the year they kind of do that matchup, the champion versus champion. Right. Hopefully, it's probably going to, Impa Kasanganay versus Johnny Evelyn. What does a 2025 Impa Kasanganay year look like?
Yeah, so it's like I said, God, just take me where you want me. But the Columbus victory on August 16th. The final, claim that victory, whether it's Rob or what's pronounced last name?
It's a tough one.
I don't know his last name. Dufflet.
Yeah, they're both solid fighters. So I always say I want the best.
Yeah.
I want the best. I don't want to fight somebody who's like kind of average or just
sure.
Sure. I want to fight it. And whoever it is, it's God gives. But I'm obviously Josh is first on Slade. I can respect him. I'm gonna take him out. It's the final. Take that one out, and then like. Johnny Evelyn, great. Like regardless, I'll still fight Johnny. They say, hey, you want to do 2 fights in early 2025? I'd love to fight 7 fights in a year. That'd be great. My trainers are probably gonna yell at me, but they're not right now. So I would, but yeah, it'd be whoever it may be. But yeah, do that like what was it, the super fights and champ fights in Riyadh, right where they usually just to be back there, and take them out. And then if it's not Johnny, maybe if it's not him, if it's Corey Anderson.
But then back in the tournament, you want to definitely be in the tournament next year of 2025?
Yeah, back in the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Or if I'm doing like, I like to at least fight 4 times a year.
Yeah,
so whether it's the tournament or it's the Super Fight Series, what they're calling it, right? Super Fight Series. Yeah. I would do that. Like, I just want to stay active. Yeah. Right? Wherever it is, man. I love to stay in the PFL. That's like the best plan. Like, I love to fight. Man. PFL's been great. Like, sponsorship, gym. Like, I'm living life and I get to stay active and keep fighting. I come into the grand opening of the gym. So I'm grateful for where I am. Like I said, people say like, go back to the UFC. I'm like, man, my grass is green here. God is blessing me. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm getting to know all these different people, and it's like a growing organization. Why not stay in it and just be a part of that? So yeah, 2025 is looking like pretty exciting. It'd be fun to like still be in the global side, but do some fights in Africa. I'd like to help grow PFL Africa too. Like I'd like to take the motorcycle, go to every country, the different gyms and train with people. And I got Ryan over here, so it's a road dog. Bring my dog Beacon with me, and just travel through Africa. Go to my parents from Congo, Ghana. They're really good boxers and stuff out there. Just meet some Senegalese wrestlers. It'd be kind of fun to do like a series or something, like a show with like the whole PFL crew. Just show like the talent there. But I mean, not just there. We can go across the world. I mean, talk about all the athletes in Cuba, talk about athletes in Brazil, like just the different places. Like get up with these fighters. Fight Josh on the 16th. Think about it. We can go to Brazil together and go recruit some fighters in PFL Brazil. Like I don't hate anybody, so I think that's gonna be fun. And so let's make 2025 like a year full of travel, a lot of fights. It'd be fun if they did the 85 tournament. I'm trying to get PFL to let me do 2 weight classes, so that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Maybe 3?
Hey, 3 for real. But I got to really fight my trainers on that. But see, if you let me fight week 1 and week 3, it's good. And then I can fight at the beginning of the night on the final, and I can fight at the end. And that'd be awesome. So I'm working on figuring that out. They used to do it. They used to let people fight twice in a night. No jokes aside, I'd love to do that. And then just travel through Africa, like kind of take the motorcycle around and do that. We're entering a motorcycle film festival with Ryan over here in Savannah. So it'd be kind of fun to, I'm excited about that. Obviously the gym, keep focusing on that. At the end of the year, I'll be training, get ready for the super fight. And that's it. Right back in the tournament, like you said, that's the plan. So I'm at LSU still where you're invited, and I feel very lucky about you.
Awesome, man. Appreciate your time, like always.
Appreciate you. Thank you. So how many has it been now?
We've been at it for a while.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.